My name is Aisha Najaya. I am the executive chef of Shakshuka and the new restaurant Shukette in Chelsea. Today I'm here to make shakshuka. To me, this is like one of the most influential dishes of the Middle East. And basically, it's a spiced tomato sauce where we braise eggs in it. But it's one of those recipes that you could really make your own with any of your favorite vegetables or none at all. So how could we start any good recipe without some garlic, onions, and jalapeno? And I'm gonna put a good amount of olive oil in here. I would say enough to cover the bottom. 4 or 5 tablespoons. Put this on a little hotter. Here, put the onions in here. Okay, throw some garlic in there. And this is a rustic dish. I mean, we're not looking for precision, we're looking for flavor. I like it spicy, so I'm gonna use this whole thing and I'm not gonna take the seeds out. I am gonna quarter it so that while we're eating this, we don't get really huge chunks of pepper in here. The other thing I like to do is while we're layering these flavors is use herbs in the beginning. So here I have a small bunch of cilantro and parsley. And I know a lot of people like to use herbs at the end because they like to retain the freshness. But each of these herbs, they impart flavor from the beginning. So this is a good part to use, like really chop your stems really thinly and get them in the pot so we're not wasting anything and really building flavors. I'm gonna cut the leaves. I'm gonna separate the leaves and the stems because I'm gonna cut the stems smaller and just bowl up these herbs and kind of get them finely chopped in here. I love basil. I love all marjoram, tarragon, you name it, I'm into it. Herbs for me play such an important role for freshness. And I just love how they each have their own like perfume or herbaceous flavor. Now we're gonna start with our spices. I happen to love this melange of spices, but you could use your own. So here I have turmeric, which is good for inflammation, color, and deliciousness. Ground ginger, which I think is a really underutilized spice. This is smoked paprika, which I love. And here we have a little bit of cumin because I think when you're cooking in the Middle East or North Africa or Israeli cooking or whatever, cumin is king. And this is one of my personal favorites, which is coriander, which is the seed of cilantro, so that would make sense. It smells like the day at the souk right now. You know when they have those pyramids of spices? I'm gonna add some salt. I'm gonna add a good amount of salt. I haven't lost my mind, I know you're thinking that, but we're gonna add 2 cans of tomato here, and that's really gonna help season that up. So it's starting to stick at the bottom, and that to me is the sign that they're really giving their all to you, and now we have to give it a little bit of liquid. So I'm gonna add the first can of tomatoes. These happen to be pureed tomatoes, but if you like crushed tomatoes, that's fine. So we have all of our key players in here in this base of a shakshuka sauce. So we're gonna bring this to a boil. Act nice, we're filming, thank you very much. And we're gonna let this simmer for about 45 minutes. So this is the perfect part when you have your sauce simmering and you're waiting to think about what am I going to put into my shakshuka. So here we have some cherry tomatoes, some plum tomatoes, maybe there's some marzano. I mean, these eggplant, I'll sell these to you if you want right now, $35 a pound. And these gorgeous peppers. So I actually think we're gonna use all 3 because I can't choose. And what I would like to do is just take these peppers. I'm gonna get them on a little bit of a sheet tray here. Give them a little showering of gorgeous olive oil and some salt bay action. And then we're gonna put these in a salamander. So we just wanna blister them. We're not like overcooking them. I'll check them in a minute or 2 just to turn them, just to get their skin softened. And then what I'm gonna do, I think, is, I live on olive oil. I'm hoping it's like my Benjamin Button kind of elixir. I'm gonna take a little bit of the stem off, but I like this little piece here. And I'm gonna cut these in half. What I would like to do is have all these vegetables cooked at different textures. But these eggplant I would like to cook. And right here what I'm doing is scoring them. I was very fortunate. I grew up and my mom's Italian and my dad is Indonesian. Both excellent, excellent cooks. And I was like the resident eater of the home. I moved out when I was 19 and I started to watch Lydia Bastianich on television. And I was like, I'm gonna work for her. And I started to cook what she would cook, and that's when I really decided to go to culinary school because I felt like some type of magnetic pulse of when I was cooking. It was just like something that I knew that I really wanted to do. So we have our eggplant here. I'm just gonna lower this just a tad bit and check up on our peppers because they are singing. And of course, if you don't have these gorgeous peppers, big red peppers will do the trick. Okay, tomato time. The other thing that's also good for you to know is you don't have to have this 45-minute situation. It could be made much sooner in a really easy way. Just take your garlic, your onion, any kind of ready-made tomato sauce, and throw your eggs directly in there. So I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna add some salt, a little bit of olive oil. I'm gonna take those peppers out. They're beautiful. So they're just really slightly charred, as you can see. I'm gonna take another clove of garlic and loosen up the skin. I'm gonna microplant some garlic on here. And then put that in here, a little bit of parsley. So I think that people really think about shakshuka as a breakfast or brunch dish. At Shuka, I think on a Saturday or a Sunday, we sell about 150 shakshuka. Everybody just wants shakshuka. So we're almost there. Starting to get some color, starting to soften up. And we're gonna cook this 3/4 of the way on the cut surface side, and then just a little bit on the other side before we start. So I'm gonna cut these in about 1-inch pieces because I wanna taste this pepper once we put it in there. Turn these, getting nice and golden brown. So our eggplant are ready to go, and I think we're ready to layer up our shakshuka. We have our tomatoes, our peppers, the beautiful looking baby eggplant, and I'm gonna take this pan. Now, this obviously is the ideal pan, something that's low and shallow. I actually happen to love the paella pan. I'm gonna put some sauce right here on the bottom. So we have our pan on, I should say. And although this dish is about the sauce, you have to really have like a good ratio of everything. So the eggs shouldn't be like drowning in the sauce. It should just be enough sauce that when you make a well, that you can stick the egg directly down on there. So what we're gonna do is to start to make the well. And I like to do it before I add the eggs, just to plot out where I'm gonna go, because once you crack the egg, you have nowhere to go. And if you wanna act like a fancy pan chef, you're gonna crack it right on the side here, and then you're gonna open it and put it directly in the well. Now, if you wanna be a little more cautious and smart, probably take a small bowl and crack your egg in here, okay? Because this will really help you. And then you're gonna take your same spoon and you're gonna make that well again, and then you'll pour the egg right in there. So at this point, you really wanna keep the sauce at a low heat for 2 reasons. One, it starts to bubble up and kind of spit back at you, and this little hot sauce on the skin is never pleasurable. But it also gives the eggs a chance to nestle into their little cocoon of sauce. As always, we want to season as we go, so just a little bit of salt. My mother's gasping right now as she's watching this. She thinks I use way too much salt, but she uses none, so there really is no compromise. A little bit of black pepper on top of there. And now we're gonna do the vegetables. So I'm gonna take some of these peppers. Now the beauty of the shakshuka, right, is that we're gonna rip and dip. So each little bite should have some kind of vegetable in it. And we're gonna take the eggplant, I'm gonna put them in there. So these eggplant are really tender. They're cooked 99% of the way, but we're just gonna put them in here so that they can marry with the sauce and live a beautiful life together. You kind of want the white to be cooked 3/4 of the way before you put it into the oven, because if you let it go any less than that, it'll take too much time in the oven, and then the bottom of the egg won't be runny. The other thing is I try to tell people this when they want the eggs well done. It's very much to your benefit to cook the eggs well done in a pan and then transfer them to the sauce. Because what you don't want to do is ever burn the bottom of the sauce. And by the time it takes the egg to cook all the way through, the sauce has a bitterness to it that you want to avoid. But we want runny eggs. We want to rip and dip. So as the self-proclaimed herb queen, I wouldn't be a dish unless we finish it with some herbs. Here's some cilantro and parsley. Mint goes well in here as well. I love cheese. Cheese and shakshuka, I think, are best friends. Some people think it's blasphemy, but I love to crumble a little feta at the end because I think that the hot sauce kind of like lets it melt. These herbs are really beautiful, thank you. And I'm not afraid of any stems. I hope that you're not. And we are going to cut these herbs so that we're all ready when this comes out to garnish and rip and dip. So our herbs are ready. We have our marinated tomatoes, and I left them out of here because I want that pop of these gorgeous sun golds and baby heirloom tomatoes. And then I'm gonna crumble this, and as you can see, we're 3/4 of the way through here. So I'm gonna take this over to the stove, put it in there for probably 2 or 3 minutes at 350 degrees, and we're getting ready to eat. A few things make me really excited, but when this comes out of the oven, I mean, bam, deliciousness. Okay, so we're gonna finish this shakshuka. Right here we have those marinated tomatoes with a little bit of garlic. I did a little bit of parsley that's gonna add a nice freshness to it. We're not trying to cover up the yolks or any of the other cast members here of our show. We're just trying to, make it better, more delicious. I'm gonna do some of this beautiful feta here. And I just like big pieces. Doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And again, this is not like a cheesy dish, but you don't want it to cheese all over. You just want to have bites of it here and there. And then I'm gonna finish it with some chopped herbs. I'm gonna take some of this olive oil that's been marinating. And I think that we're ready to rip and dip into the shakshuka. So here we are at the moment of truth. And because we layered it so nicely, I think the first thing you wanna do is just go directly down into that oozy yolk, which we're getting here. Getting a little bit of the feta. I'm just gonna use a spoon so that I could get some of this on here. Oh yeah, that is the bite. Sometimes you have to do a two-step in silence when it's that good. I mean, it's really delicious, guys. I'm getting like bright hits of acid from the tomato, a little bit of the raw garlic, and then there's this like silky, beautiful flavor of the eggplant. And I think the feta at the end just gives it like a little bit of like gilding the lily on top. So don't forget, for the recipe for this shakshuka, click the link below and come visit me at Shuka or Shukette. Am I still okay? Not sweaty?
No, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna stay here all day. I'll do the other chef's recipe too, don't worry. Oh my goodness, don't even. I had a really bad White House subs in Atlantic City.
I love Atlantic City.
Me too. It's like the perfect place to be grimy and still classy at the same time. With the hopes that you win money. I mean, what a combo.